to the givers. I know a lot of you have been asking me for over 2 years to get this guy on camera, but it's been a difficult road, not because of him, just because of the nature of the last 2 years. Dr. Sooliman, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice meeting you, Chris. Thank you very much for coming.
Well, thank you so much. You kindly agreed to meet with me today. You know, it was a little embarrassing for me because what happened was I have a group for the travel, and a lot of people writing me there, and somebody said, yeah, he's trying to talk to Chris. He's been trying to find Chris. And I had mentioned your name, but they were talking about somebody else. And then I wrote to you and said, yeah, so-and-so said that you were looking for me. And Dr. Sooliman said, I don't know who that is. So it was a little embarrassing for me.
That's fine.
So, Dr. Sooliman, now your organization, Gift of the Givers, is what we call in the United States a non-governmental organization, not-for-profit, yes?
Yes, that's true.
And you were founded back in the early 1990s.
On the 6th of August, 1992.
We're broadcasting. We're broadcasting. Cool. You can come back. Thank you. That's all right.
On the 6th of August, 1992, I was in Turkey. I met a spiritual teacher.
Yes.
And that actually, it's a long story. It even goes back to America. So when we discuss it, I can discuss it in detail.
Sure. I don't know if I have that kind of time today. Maybe I can catch you on the Zoom session. We can talk the whole story of it. But Gift of the Givers, you know, every time that a disaster has befallen South Africa in the past few years, not just South Africa, but you work in like 45 countries, I keep hearing Gift of the Givers, Dr. Sooliman. And I followed what you did in KZN during the floods, when the government seemed to have no answer, no response, and we won't even get into the law enforcement aspect of it, but just the humanitarian response from the looting last year and then now the floods this year. But Gift of the Givers was on the scene right away. Now, I took some images that were coming from Gift of the Givers and I shared them with people just to promote the organization. I hope you don't mind that.
No, of course I wouldn't mind, because of course it benefits people in difficulty and have challenges. And we've been getting a phenomenal amount of support, which means we can reach more people while greater distress. And there's been a huge distress, whether the floods, a lot of people lost their lives, lost their homes, lost their possessions. You know, people don't know where to start again, people have lost jobs, businesses have collapsed. It's been a very, very tough time coming on the back of the flood of 2019, the COVID of 2020, and this of 2021, the floods of 2002, and a lot of lost to the stage six load shedding on the West. So people have been very, very difficult situation. So any kind of support that comes from anywhere in the world makes it better for us, easier for us to have many more people.
Well, Dr. Sooliman, I'll tell you, with that chronology of events that happened in KZN, I just came back from KZN. Next time I go, I'll be looking for locusts. You've had floods, you've had insurrection, yes. You've got power, load shedding. It's crazy all the problems that have happened in KZN. But let me ask you this question. How do you respond so quickly? Because when the floods happened, I mean, I was getting reports from people saying, hey, Gift of the Givers is already here. Do you have folks at KwaZulu-Natal and do you have pre-positioned supplies and things to help in case of a disaster?
We specialists in disaster. We've been doing this for 30 years.
Disaster response.
Disaster response, yes.
You say you're special disaster, it sounds like you make them.
Some people actually think that we do make the disasters. Because they say you get there so quickly, it's like we created it and bought them. So they will tell us that. So yes, disaster response. Our head office is in field management, KZN.
Oh, okay.
Right? But because of years of development, we have networks all over the country.
Okay.
We can mobilize and activate people very fast. And we always have clear information. Geologists and hydrologists give us feedback. The rains are coming, it's going to be big, it's going to be far bigger than anybody knows. So we keep our things on ready. To answer the second part of the question, we always have suppliers on standby. We have warehouses of suppliers on standby. We have our own trucks. We have companies that can release goods for us anywhere in the country. We can fly planes, we can send stuff by ship, we can send stuff in various ways very, very fast. And actually that night, on the 11th of April, when the flood level, water level was very, very high, we started getting calls, not from people wanting help. We started getting calls from corporate companies in South Africa to offer money at 11 p.m. at night and at midnight, saying, we want to help our people, what do we do? At 5 a.m. the next morning, our team's already moving on site. We got the calls from Tonga, and it's a very sad story, to say that you guys were here last week. We were in Tonga a week before, and we were giving out food parcels to poor families that live in flats and accommodation. And they called us to say that one of the ladies that we gave a food parcel to has been washed away with 3 of her grandchildren. And there's a lot of sadness in the area. So my teams being who they are, decided we're going to Tonga first. And when they got there, a lady was found with 2 children. And the 3rd child was found late in the day. They then came back to Tonga to bring food parcels to the table, but they saw the destruction, the water level to the flat, all people in the homes, no young people, no youth, no children to assist them. They come in the street with a broom, and it's very a depressing sight to see old people resting without their own children being there out there. It's something as a country we're going to take notice of. A lot of children make progress in life, forget that the parents come from, and leave them alone. And that's not acceptable. In our culture, in our religion, in our way of life, people have to go back to their parents and look after them and take care of them. So they went back and had them on top of water. Whilst they were doing that, an affluent area in Floating called and said, we have all the money in the world, we have all the vehicles, but we can't access water. And so we took water and we delivered water to them instantly because we carry stocks. So we carry stocks all over the country. We have vehicles all over the country. We have philanthropists, we have good-hearted people who will open up warehouses, will bring trucks, will bring forklifts, will release goods with no money and say pay later. And that's the kind of relationship we have established. And of course, all credit goes to the local people.
Sure.
The CPF forums, the religious leaders, the security services, they all go to the council, all the people who got up first to take somebody out of the house, or to save somebody and send a boat, or bring a pot of food, or bring a blanket. South Africans as a whole stood up, and credit has to go to those community people who got up to do something.
Well, they had to. I mean, it was pretty epic, the floods, and the response from the government was not exactly timely, so it was good to see that. Now, do you rely on commercial services? Like, for instance, I believe that gift givers went to Nepal after earthquake usually, yes?
Yes.
So do you have your own pilots that can fly planes, or do you just rely on commercial services and that sort of thing?
It's not practical.
Not practical. It's very costly.
Costly.
Yeah.
But we have different mechanisms.
So you can reach out. So.
So we have to reach out. No, we put teams on commercial flights. If it's an emergency, we hire charter a private plane and send teams. Then we put cargo on the private plane and on the commercial flight. And sometimes we do three: a cargo plane, a commercial plane, one cargo, a private plane with cargo, and we send different types of flights of people across. Then we could buy stuff within the country, but the construction is so huge you can't get stuff. Then we look for the neighboring country, or we fly to the neighboring countries across. And so we have a combination of different types of things that we do in the disaster. But we always like to buy local because it's cheaper, it's faster, and it's what people know. They know that food, they know that medication, they know that blanket. It's easy to give them what they know.
Plus, it helps an economy in distress that's just been hit by disaster. I find it interesting, Dr. Sooliman, because having spent 36 years in the Army, we do humanitarian assistance operations quite frequently, tsunamis, flood relief, fires, that sort of thing. And it almost sounds like you have military precision in your planning process here. So I find that interesting. It's a very interesting.
I've been in many war zones.
Yes.
We built hospitals in war zones. We designed the world's first containerized mobile hospital.
First containerized mobile hospital.
In the world. We did it in South Africa and we took it to Bosnia.
Okay.
And CNN, when they filmed it on the 1st of February 94, the commentator on CNN said that the South African containerized mobile hospital is equal to any of the best hospitals in Europe. And that is a product of South African technology taken to Europe. So we've been in more situations, we've been shot at, we've been bombed, and our priority is always our teams. We take very advanced medical teams to war zones, and to earthquakes, and hurricanes, and typhoons, we take certain rescue teams too. And actually in Haiti, we pulled out somebody from the rubber alive 8 days after the earthquake, 20th January 2010. So we have highly skilled personnel who can do a lot of things.
Well, is Gift for the Givers a faith-based organization, or is it non-denominational, non-religious, or is there a faith component to it?
It's a very strong faith component. It's a Muslim organization, but it has links to Sufism. In the Sufi spiritual order, which emphasizes that services to all of mankind unconditionally. So we don't look at race, we don't look at faith. We don't look at faith that the guy believes that's not our problem. We'll probably have. That's the standard. And my teams are made up of all kinds of groups.
So
all
Christians,
races,
Hindus, Muslims,
everybody. It's mixed. Our donors are mixed. Our teams are mixed. Our services are mixed. Our systems mixed. It's based on humanity. And that's the teaching of faith.
Well, I think that's excellent to hear that. Now, as far as the team makeups, do you rely largely on volunteers, or are you able to maintain the staff?
No. There's two aspects to this. When I work in South Africa, all my staff are full-time. They're permanent. I don't need volunteers.
Sure.
Because something comes up Monday, they're going to go somewhere, they leave. But my full-time staff, they train, they drill, they're in the process because we specialize in disasters.
Sure.
Disaster
You gotta
response.
have certain skills.
So they got to know exactly, each one got to know how the other one is going to think. Right? So they train together in different cities, we take them from different towns, different parts of the country, and we mix them. The truck drivers know where to go, the forklift driver has to go, project manager, the teams on the ground, everybody just knows what the next one's going to do. That's our local stuff. It's all full time. Internationally, we don't need them all the time because the disaster is going to be there.
Thankfully.
Yeah. So the medical teams and search and rescue teams, they're trained with each other in town. We have regularly follow-up meetings. Initially, we started off, we had no search and rescue teams. We only had medical teams. First, we had primary healthcare. Then we had trauma medicine, we had orthopedic, general, vascular surgeon, and others. Then we had post-op trauma. Then we had trauma counselors. And then we added on search and rescue. Then we added on the dogs and all the medical equipment and search and rescue equipment. And initially, the medical teams went first. The search and rescue teams went first, and the medical teams came afterwards. And then we realized that doesn't work. So we've set a component of the medical team together with the search and rescue team. We have a follow-on. And then we'll do a second search and rescue team, a second medical team, and then a big medical team will come. So it's a combination of these. But to answer your question, we have 34 medical specialists, gynecologists, pediatricians, vascular, general, orthopedic surgeons, anesthetists, clinical nurses, ICU nurses, paramedics, primary healthcare medicine. There's more primary healthcare medicine in a traumatic situation than trauma cases.
Sure.
Because 400 to 500 people still need medicine, we still need high blood pressure, we still need diabetic care, asthma care, that kind of stuff. So we have to support people. But to extend the pool, we have to, on every mission, they invite you. First come, first serve. It's also not about how skilled you are anything, it's about the country. Can you walk the tracks of another religion? Can you go the tracks of another country or from another race? If a bomb falls, how are you going to respond? Are you going to break the group? And are you going to be disciplined? Are you doing those things? I think I'm together. I can do things like my own way. All those factors are taken into account. And then we allow new people to come in. And quite often, the new people are sometimes better than the people who are doing. You get new talent.
New blood.
New blood.
New ideas.
Yes.
So, Dr. Sooliman, it seems to me almost as if, having watched unfortunate disasters befall in South Africa, that Gift of the Givers is kind of like the go-to. It's the first response. People turn to your organization to get help right away, even in many places before they even contact the government. Is that a true statement, or is that a fair statement?
It's something more than that.
Okay.
The government contacts us.
The government contacts you. Okay. So, all right, so I was correct, and it was even further than I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
The national disaster will call us, provincial disaster will call us, the mayors will call us, municipalities will call us, councils will call us, ministers will call us, people in government will call us. It's an unofficial statement that we are the official response for South Africa, unofficially. So whenever there's a crisis, locally or internationally, internationally, the international relations will call us, locally, and even settlements, local government, disaster management, water and sanitation, somebody will call us. And another thing has developed over the years. When a disaster happens in another country, the embassies of those countries call us.
Yeah.
And they say, look, we know your capability and your capacity, we'll facilitate everything. Don't worry about visa, customs. You just put your team and we'll open up everything and we'll meet you on the other side.
No, that's absolutely brilliant. So what is your biggest challenge with Gift of the Givers? Is it the number of disasters you have to respond to? Is it keeping qualified and talented people? Is it donor support? What's the biggest challenge you face? Because we all have challenges.
Yeah, we all have challenges, but we've largely managed every disaster. We've managed to see through the end. But we've grown. For example, in Cyclone Idai, for the first time in our history, we responded to 4 disasters at the same time. We were in Mozambique, Malawi, Zimbabwe, and we had floods together. So we involved in all, and that's besides all the other projects that we do.
Yes. Because you have regular projects for feeding and for water.
We have 21 different customers.
Yeah.
And they all run simultaneously. Plus, we involved in other countries, they also run simultaneously.
And you don't get to take a break on that. Got to keep that's the day job when the disasters come.
So everything, the policy of disaster is an existing intervention cannot stop. So when we take on a disaster, it's an addition that we do. Nothing stops. It's just additional things happen. So the biggest criteria is funding. Because more funding, we can do more things.
Sure.
And that's our only limitation. We're not short of personnel. Since we got involved in COVID, we got hospital staff. And heads of department say, take all my staff. So I can virtually count on 1,000 people in one place to come instead of a finger. So resources is not a problem. I mean, manpower is not a problem. Skill is not a problem. We have experience for all our people. The more money we have, the more things we can do. It's as simple as that.
Now, when you go abroad, we'll wrap up here in just a moment, Dr. Sooliman. But when you go abroad, do you work with other organizations like that? You work with the International Committee of the Red Cross or other folks when you're doing response abroad, or do you work independently?
We work totally independently, but in association.
I see. Okay.
So
there's cooperation.
Yeah, so the Red Cross will say, okay, we're working in area A. So we'll say, okay, we go to area B, somebody else will say in area C. Then somebody comes from area C to area B and say, look, we're short of this equipment, you have it. We'll say, we've got a spare one, and we take it.
So you're cross level.
Yeah, and then somebody comes from A and says, look, We got the stuff we don't need anymore. Do you need it? Figure that out. So it's like that. So we check what each other has, and then sometimes we have meetings together, and we share teams to do things together and work together where necessary. But overall, we respect each other's space, and we cooperate. If there's help required, we certainly help each other.
That's great. Well, Dr. Sooliman, it's been a real privilege and a pleasure to spend this time with you. I'd like to, later we'll catch you, maybe do a Zoom session where it's quieter, you can hear better. But I just want to give you an opportunity to address the audience. If there's anything you'd like to say, how can they help you for years? There's something folks can do.
Well, first of all, not only to help gift of the givers, we have a common humanity, we have mankind, and all of us can play a role. We don't have to play a role through organizations. We have a teaching that whoever does an atom's weight of good shall see it. So you don't have to do really, really big things. You can do a simple thing. Give a widow good counsel. Help something with some kind of advice. See, and all scripture teaches to look at your family first. So if families are in difficulty, your neighbor is in difficulty, the guy in the next street is in difficulty, we can do something quietly. It's about the dignity of the person. And if all of us have this in our heart to help somebody else, like how we ourselves would want to be helped if we're in crisis, if we have that kind of philosophy and that type of mentality, we can make a huge difference to the world as a whole. In South Africa specifically, we're asking medical personnel who are retired to come back. We need their skills to come and help and assist hospitals. We're asking teachers to come back and help with the teaching profession. We lost over 2,000 teachers in COVID-19. We're getting more children coming to the system, more classrooms, but not enough teachers. No additional teachers are being employed. Those people who have skills, but dealing with kids who have learning disorders, those poor kids got no future. We need to give a future to those children. Those people who've got companies, take a youth, take a youngster, give him skills, do apprenticeship, give everybody, if you can employ one person and give them some kind of skill and a stipend, let's do that. If we all work together, we can make a better life for ourselves, for our country, and our world.
Well, Dr. Sooliman, thank you very much, folks. I can't say it any better than a message of unity, a message of teamwork, a message of hope. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to give us a comment there and let us know what you thought of the broadcast. And we'll catch you next time, shortly, actually, with Joel Stransky here on Chris Wyatt Reports. And I'm going to shut down.